We're in a very good spot. I'm going to bait the Rex to ambush me. I do that. I get in. 1, 2. What is up, YouTube? I hope you're having a great today, yesterday, and tomorrow. We are coming at you with a video we have not done before on the channel. It is an in-depth analysis of a fight I recently had as a solo Dilo against 2 adult Rexes, where half of the fight is during the day. You guys are going to have a little crawl into my brain so you can see what I'm thinking, why I'm doing what I'm doing, and eventually you'll be able to see how the fight turns out for me against the 2 adult Rexes. If you enjoy the video, please don't forget to leave a thumbs up on the video. It really does help show the video to more people. As well, leave a comment below. Let me know what other types of fights you would like to see us break down in depth on the channel. Last but not least, please hit that subscribe button, turn the notifications on. That'll make sure you guys never miss another video that we post weekly on this channel. I love you guys to death. Chin kisses to all of you. I'll catch you in the next one. You never really see here, I'm just trailing right now. Just kind of paying attention to what they're doing. I've already hit this Rex, I think, 3 times. So we're going to come in. We're going to hit him a little bit more here. We hit him 3 more times. That's 6 bites on this Rex. It's actually half of what we require to bleed a Rex out. We're just going to continue this process as we go. They're not taking it seriously at this point. The one Rex in the front decides to turn around. You guys can see here that the video shows a little bit lighter, but during the gameplay, it was really the middle of the night. So it's quite dark for them still. The back Rex, the white one, has 6 bites on it. The one in the front has no bites on it quite yet. And I'm trailing just to try to get another engagement for free, in essence. I come up. I'm just patient. There's 2 bites. So now I'm at 8 bites. And these Rexes are in a situation where they need to take it seriously now that she's at 8 bites. This female Rex right here. I'm over here in these trees just waiting. And at this point, when I'm in these trees, I don't need to rush because this white Rex already has 8 bites on it. There's no need for me to, go in, put myself in a bad position to just try to get those additional 4 bites right away. Realistically, right now, I can let this Rex get a lot of bleed damage and start to put itself in a position where it needs to start making decisions on whether it needs to find me, whether it needs to maybe go lay down. And if it does decide that it needs to lay down due to how much bleed it has, then it opens me up for a little bit more of a 1v1, and you guys will see that as the video continues. So to see this from my perspective, I'm sitting here waiting for these Rexes to get into a position where I feel comfortable enough to engage. So I'm going to give it to you guys from a little bit more of a bird's eye view so you guys can see exactly what I'm thinking. I go in from the back. I take the advantage of taking 2 bites. I know that if that Rex bites, it's going to more than likely have a chance to hit the other one if either of them bite. And I do believe we hear that Rex bite. And in my ears while I was playing, I was pretty sure I heard that Rex bite hit the other Rex. Which means now I have to imagine that it's likely there's a bone break going on. Because that Rex was already in crouch, we can't quite tell that there's a bone break, but I go ahead and separate. I now have 10 bites on the white Rex, 2 away from being able to bleed it out. So we're in a very, very good position to continue this fight. They're circling. It's still very dark, as you can see. And I'm just going to grab some stamina back. I did a lot of running up the hill. Right there, I did a long ambushed burst through. And I'm going to let that white Rex just bleed as much as it can, especially because I know that it's very likely that it also just took damage from the other Rex. So I'm going to get back into ambush. What I want now is I want that white Rex to continue to move, and I want it to try to run at me. That's what I'm thinking here. I'm thinking if I can get this white Rex to run at me, it's going to do even more bleed damage. Or if I can separate that darker one from it, then that's going to give me a chance to enter. Once they give me their backs here, I start to creep this direction so I can enter on the backs. I run, I spook the one Rex, I get them moving again. Because the key is here, when you're fighting with a Dilo or anything that is bleed heavy, you want your opponent to be moving as they take more damage throughout the fight. So I just need them moving. I'm going to keep forcing them to have to find me. And I'm going to position myself in a spot where I'm not close enough that even if they do ambush at me, I'm going to be just fine. Or I need to have ambush so that if they ambush at me, I'm faster than them regardless. They've given me a solid position to enter again here. You'll see they have their backs facing the exact same way. So I'm going to creep back to that direction. And I'm just going to want to enter where they give me the opening. That's exactly what I do. I get that one moving. I realize the white one did not move here. So the black one is taking control of defense at this point. And I'm just going to take advantage of that. I know that that white one is starting to realize how much bleed it has. And I'm going to start to put myself in a position where I can hopefully take advantage of the black one. Now, here's where it starts getting interesting. I've peeled off. I've started to get stam. But this white Rex has now sat down. I do another pass-through bite. That is now 11 bites on this white Rex. It stands up. It sits back down because it has so much bleed that it's forcing the other Rex to guard for it while it heals some of that bleed off. We're starting to see now, this is the point where in the fight where I switch to day cam so that I can see them. But this is the hard part. Now they can see me as well. I'm going to continue. There's 12 bites on the white Rex. Now the white Rex has laid down. So it's not as easy as just saying we've gotten 12 bites. We're going to be able to bleed it out because the Rex is healing this entire time and it will not die from bleed if it's laying. What I need to do is I need to keep applying bleed in this fight to a dinosaur that's laying down so that when it does need to stand up to defend itself, it'll take bleed damage. In this entry right here, what I was thinking was I was going to attack the darker Rex, but I didn't attack the darker Rex here because the white one stood up and that gave me a little bit of caution. I actually did not think the white one was going to be standing up. I thought I was going to have free reign to attack this darker Rex, but because the white Rex stands up, I just go ahead and disengage and I realize that that's something they're going to try to do. So it changes the way I'm going to fight here. Once again, I just trot around looking for stam. And they're in a pretty good position, right? The white one's laying down. I can 1v1 the other Rex. And now I've just got to make sure that I always enter with a position that gives me the chance to get on the back of that darker Rex. I go again for another bite. I circle around the darker one because this is the one I want bites on. Right pocket. I get 2 bites on the darker one. Maybe even hit the white one. It's possible. The white one stands. It does even more bleed to itself. Every time it stands up, it's doing a significant amount of bleed. I come in for another attack. I decide to attack the white one here. I could have tried to get around the darker one, but the white one stands up and it gives me a very hard time to get around that darker one. So the white one's just going to eat another bite. At this point, I am just continuing to apply max bleed to this white Rex so that it's going to keep taking damage over time. It's not going to die laying down, but it gives me the chance to make sure that if it continues to stand up, if it continues to try to be in this fight, it's going to bleed very heavily, regardless of when it decides to stand up. So we're doing our little dance now. This Rex decides to try to ambush me, but it's too far away. One thing you'll notice here is this Rex ambushes me and I don't actually have ambush. So I need to just make sure I'm always at a distance where even if it has ambush and I don't, I can still get away. Thankfully, I did create enough separation. I was able to make a really easy escape. And now I'm going to forcefully try to go back to this white one to make it stand up, which it does. And now it's crouching, bleeding even more. This one's going to chase me. Remember, the dark one only has 2 bites on it at this point, so it's not really at any risk of bleeding out. We see the white one goes to lay down. It's going to separate itself so I can't use it as bait. It's actually a very smart play by that Rex. I'm going to try to get an ambush. This Rex is not going to let me get into ambush just yet, and it's just going to keep following me around. But what this Rex doesn't realize is this is best case scenario for me right now. This Rex, I'm not sure if it's a he, they have separated themselves from the one that it was defending. Yes, this Rex over here, this white one, is healing, but it has max bleed, which means it's going to take quite a long time for it to heal all the way up. It also was more than likely bit by this Rex, so we know it's really hurting. This now is a 1v1, and I have to take advantage of this darker Rex, because once I take advantage of this darker Rex and I can get it even close to max bleed, then they're going to be having to figure out who's going to sit down, who's going to heal, or one of them is going to drop. Rex turns, gives me its back. I'm going to run its tail down. I'm going to go in. I get right pocket. I go for 1 bite. There's 2 bites. There's 3 bites. It continues to walk forward, and I take advantage of every single one of them. Now this Rex has 5 bites on it. White one stands back up, I see, so I disengage so that it can't ambush at me. Sits back down, and I know I'm good to go against this Rex again. It gets into crouch, so I separate myself here. You can see me getting enough distance that no matter what. And I am very comfortable at this point, just walking away, letting this Rex bleed. We know that one was on max bleed. It's going to be a long time before it heals. And I just need to take advantage of this Rex while I have the chance. It's at 5 bites. It needs 10 for max bleed, 12 for a solid kill. I get back into ambush. He's doing a lot of turning, and I realize that here at this point, when he gives me his back, I'm going to run his tail down. So that's exactly what I do. He actually ambushes at me. I take advantage of it. I get behind him. Z-walk. There's 1. There's 2. There's 3. I wait till he gives me an opening, and I exit on the left side. Now this Rex as well has 8 bites. I go for another tailspin. And just like that, now I have this other secondary Rex on 11 bites. 10 bites is max bleed. 12 I can kill a Rex. And now I have this one on max bleed. I have this one on max bleed, although it has been healing. And now we're at the point of the fight where these Rexes are going to have to make a distinct decision on who is going to sit, or one of them is going to bleed to death. I think at this point, now that I've put a lot of pressure on the dark one, I need to start positioning myself so that the white Rex also has to worry about me. It keeps sitting down. I know it's bleeding heavily, but it keeps sitting down, which means it's going to be healing this whole time. I know that at some point in time here in the near future, I need to really start putting pressure on that white Rex so they're both in a dire situation. I still maintain a good position so that this Rex can't just ambush at me. I get back into ambush. And one thing that's very important for everybody to see here, I think that is incredibly important. Notice when I go into my ambush, I'm always facing away. If I go into ambush and I'm facing this Rex and it realizes that I just crouched but I don't have my ambush yet, it very well could try to take advantage of me having to turn and run away without ambush. It's a very dangerous position. I would rather run away without ambush when I'm already facing the opposite direction. So I always grab my ambush facing away from the Rex or facing whatever I'm fighting, so that just in case it does decide to ambush me while my ambush is activating and I don't quite have it yet, I'm still already in a position to run directly away from them. Now I can turn. I've acquired my ambush. We're in a good position. And I'm just going to start baiting this Rex into moving around. I realize it's standing still. I realize that my ambush isn't going to do much unless I try to turn around it and bait it. So I'm going, okay, let's go put some pressure on this white one, because this is the one we need to be standing. You can see how torn up this white one is already. Looks to be early third screen, maybe late second, but more than likely early third screen. I also realize that this Rex no longer has a broken leg. So now they're going to start acting as a team and start fighting. This is where it gets even more difficult. But remember, this darker one is also on max bleed and has not had a chance to sit down just yet, which is great for us. So theoretically, at this point in the fight, I just need to keep the darker one standing. The white one doesn't matter very much anymore. The white one also had a large amount of bleed. We kept applying it, and this darker one's just going to keep circling around. At this point, I'm just letting these Rexes bleed. I want them to be as hurt as possible. They need to make a decision on what they're going to do, or I know I've already won this fight at this point. The hard part is I can't get lazy. I can't get too close, but I need to keep them moving. And how do I do that? I need to keep enough distance to where they know if I get close enough, I can attack. Right here, it's important. The white one's in ambush. And in my mind, I'm thinking this Rex, this darker Rex, is baiting me into going in so that the white Rex can ambush me. So I need to bait the white Rex out of their ambush before I do anything else. I enter, I keep it turning. The white Rex turns, it sees me face. I bait it out of its ambush because I know that's exactly what it wants to do. And now I'm comfortable going in because the Rex in the back, the white one, doesn't have their ambush anymore. At this point in the fight now, they definitely got their ambush back. So I've got to really, in essence, just recreate that. I'm just trying to stay at a distance where neither of them can catch me, even if one ambushes or sprints at me. But I'm doing a very good job at this point, keeping them standing, keeping them walking. And that means more bleed for me. The more they move, the more they bleed. Especially the white one in ambush. I'm smelling to make sure. It's a little hard because of the hill. If you guys can see here at my angle, it was really difficult to see if that darker one was still bleeding. Even though I knew it was on max bleed, I wanted to just see how much it was bleeding. I'm going to try to go around the dark one again and bait the ambush. It's exactly what I do. I bait the ambush out of the white one again, and now I'm going to go back around to keep them spinning. White one tries to go for it again. I give a little cheeky mock bite. And we have done, up until this point of the fight, a phenomenal job of keeping these Rexes standing and keeping them moving, which is making them bleed even more. You can see the scratches on the white one. Looks to be almost certainly third screen at this point. And now this Rex is starting to get second and third screen. It's got the scratches on the face already. They're both very hurt at this point in the fight, which means we've done a very, very good job of against both of them. But it is daytime. They can see me. They're quite fast out of their ambush, and I can't get lazy. I can't get low on stam. I have to make sure my entries make sense. And trying to enter and ride on a Rex for 3 bites while both of them are standing, it is likely that at this point in the fight, while they're still on third screen, they would be willing to bite me off of one another to kill me to end the fight, even though they know they're going to hurt the other one. So I have to be very careful. This is me getting stamina back. I've done a good amount of sprinting, but I want to be able to enter 3 or 4 times without having to worry about stamina. And this whole time, they're just bleeding. There's no downside to me just waiting it out. They're not sitting down. They're not posting. I bait it out. I go again. And right here, you can see me doing circles because I want the white one to ambush at me. That's in essence what I want. I want that white one to ambush at me. It doesn't take the bait the third time. I got it to work the first 2 times, but it doesn't take the bait on the third one, and you see me just circle back around. When you're fighting a Dilo or any dinosaur that really is reliant on bleed, it's a waiting game. The longer the fight goes and the more bites you get, the better it is for you. Short fights do not behoove dinosaurs that use bleed. So making this fight dirty, making it last longer, making them have to pay attention to me for a prolonged period of time always benefits the dinosaur that wins via bleed. Here, what I'm thinking now is they've been bleeding for a while. I haven't gotten bites. The dark one is definitely in a dire situation. It needs to sit or it's going to bleed. The white one doesn't have max bleed anymore. We saw it sit for quite a long time. It has been an ambush, but it's very possible that that white one has healed to a point where it might not die. So I need to start thinking about trying to apply another bite or 2 to the white one so that no matter what, one of these Rexes is going down. So I'm going to wait for them to hit a spiral that is very conducive to me entering in safely and try to get an engagement, maybe 1, maybe 2 bites without them being able to bite me. I bait the ambush out of the white one again. I run around. I keep my ambush going because I don't know what they're going to do. I know neither of them have ambush. I'm willing to get close enough. And once again, I wasn't able to get in. But you know what? We tried and we kept them moving. Once again, we can't iterate it. I cannot iterate enough how positive it is to make sure that they're always moving. If they were standing still, they would be bleeding a lot less. But right now, they're rotating around. They're trying to catch me. They're in ambush. They're really, really cognizant of where I am. And that's really good for us because they're going to just bleed over and over and over again. I do another fake entry. I get that one Rex to run. He has bleed. That is so good for us. Every time they run, we do even more bleed. And all I'm doing right now is forcing them to move, forcing them to sprint, forcing them to be in ambush. Because we know at this point in the fight, the Dark One has max bleed. So this is a very important part of the fight. Remember, we knew this Dark One was at max bleed. They know that if they don't sit, they're going to die. Once again now, we have forced this duo Rex pair to go into a situation where they've gone 1v1 against me. The white one, we're almost pretty sure, almost certainly they've healed enough bleed to not be in a position where they're going to die, but they are taking damage. And this Dark One had no choice now at this point in the fight but to sit down and start healing. So we are going to take advantage of the 1v1 that's just been created because we were able to place max bleed on both of them. Trying to bait the white one into sprinting. It doesn't, but I am able to get behind it. I get behind the white one. I put another bite on. It's only one bite. I actually think I might have hit both Rexes on this one, but one bite is going to keep that white one bleeding. We've already done 11 bites to that white Rex, maybe even more than that at this point in time. That means that's 12. So over the course of a fight, technically, I've won if that Rex hadn't sat down. But either way, I've stacked more bleed on, and now the white one continues to be in trouble. And that's how we want this fight to go. We just want this fight to continue being a problem where no matter who is standing, defending, they are in a position where they're going to die. 2 more bites on the white Rex. I get it out of ambush, and now this Rex, the white one, is in another dire situation. It's almost certainly at a point where if it continues to take bites and continue to stand, it's going to bleed to death. The darker one stands up, but it's not a worry. It only sat down for maybe 1 or 2 healing ticks. We know it still has tons of bleed. We more than likely hit a double hit on both of these Rexes, which means we stacked a little bit more bleed on him as well on this darker one. The white one took 3 more bites, which means it's already in a position to probably bleed to death. And now they're both standing. Best case scenario right now, they're both standing in ambush, bleeding. And I am back to just walking around and forcing them to move. Because remember, the longer the fight goes for a bleeding dinosaur, the better it is for the dinosaur that does bleed. They're not worried. They only need 1 bite and the fight is over. They just need to hit me in any way and the fight will be over for them. Me, I've hit them enough times to where if they continue to stand, they continue to move, they continue to chase me, one of them is going to die. So we just need to play this smart and continue to stack bleed on either one of these Rexes that decides to sit down. I didn't like how close we were at this point, so I go ahead and ambush away or just run away to make sure that regardless of if they pop out of an ambush, they can't hit me. I don't ever want to be in a position where I'm close enough that if they ambush or sprint at me, I'm in danger. I use the tree as cover. They can't see me. I run around and I'm baiting ambush again. And this is so good for us because every time they use that ambush sprint, they just take so much more bleed. It's a significant amount. It's 3 times the amount of bleed that you would normally take if you're just standing still. I hit another mock bite just to let them know I'm still here. I'm still present. I know what they're doing. And the white one sits again. Remember, the 3 bites we got over there on the hill have really come into play now. The white one was already very injured. It was still bleeding. We took advantage of it, moving around and letting the dark one sit down. We bit it 3 more times. We got another bite on this dark one as well. So we're in a position where the white one has to sit or it's going to die. This is exactly what we want. We are back to another 1v1 on this Rex. And this one is still heavily bleeding because it did not sit down for very long. So I know that I get to take advantage of the dark one once again. A big mistake that this darker Rex has made now is that it's separating himself from the dinosaur that he's trying to defend. I also know they're still bleeding so much. it looks to me when I'm playing that they're already on 4th screen. So I just need them running around. I need them moving, and I need them to continue to move. So I'm going to bait some sprint. I bait some sprint from the first Rex. He cuts me off, so I can't get to the white one. But every time he sprints, he's doing even more damage. So once I realize that this Rex is willing to sprint in angles to try to defend me from the white one, I know I can take advantage of it. And I'm just going to continue to pull him further and further away from the white Rex. I go back in, the white one's laying down, and I'm going to take advantage of it if I can. White one stands, I'm not able to take advantage of it, but the dark one uses a ton of sprint, takes even more bleed damage just to ensure that I can't bite this white one. Everything is going according to plan at this point in the fight. Now, I have known, because of how this dark one's acting, that he is going to defend this white one. So I'm going to bait him sprinting at me. I turn around. I bait even more sprint out of him again. I go back in. He's going to sprint. I do it again. And over, I just continue to bait the sprint. And boom, the white one gets hit again. Now, you might think the white one's laying down. Why bite this one? I'm not going to bite this one to death. Not theoretically, right? But what I need to do is I need to continue to apply bleed to this white one so that no matter what, if it continues to stand up to defend itself, it's going to take massive increments of bleed over and over again. That's how I'm going to win this fight. I'm not going to win this fight by bite damage. I need it to bleed itself to death. And the way I'm going to do that is forcing the white one to say, you either stay sitting, or every time you stand up, you're going to take a massive amount of bleed damage. If I let that white Rex heal, then they're both going to fight, or the white Rex is going to allow the dark one to lay down, and then I'm going to have to start the whole process all over again. And I can't afford that. The longer the fight goes, it is better for me, but it is still very possible that one of these Rexes can still just hit one bite, and all of this work has been for nothing. I once again actively try to pull the darker Rex away. The white one stands up again. Not really sure why. Maybe it was a fake because they thought I was coming in. Regardless, though, remember, we just bit it. It was already bleeding. We know we have a ton of stacks of bleed damage on it. So every time it stands, we're at an advantage. I go to run around. I'm going to take advantage of the 1v1 on this darker Rex. I bite the white one. I get around the darker one because he's the one I need to work. I bite the white one again because he continues to spin. And now we're at the point of the fight where if this white Rex stands up at all, it's in a very dangerous spot. It's not going to heal this bleed anytime soon. We've hit roughly 17 bites on the white one. We've hit, 13 bites on the dark one. So if this white one continues to stand up and try to defend itself, it is going to put itself on 4th screen. We can see this darker one is already at that position. So we know that we are in a very good spot. Theoretically, if I'm these Rexes, I actually think the darker one should sit and the white one needs to fight at this point because it's a little less hurt. But it is a very difficult situation. I'm going to continue to get stand back. I'm going to pressure. So he turns. I do love me some mock bites. And right now, I realize that this Rex likes to turn. It likes to spin. So I'm going to take advantage of its spin. When it wants to give me its back, I'm going to go in and try to 1v1 this Rex. I'm going to make sure that that Rex never heals its bleed off. It's walking at me. If it walks at me, I can get in, or I can bite the white one. One or the other. I get another bite on the darker Rex. Now the darker Rex has another stack of bleed on it. And this darker Rex is already on 4th screen, which means it's not healing. It's going to drop if this fight just continues. If he doesn't sit, if this dark Rex does not sit at any point in time in this fight, it's dropping. There's no question about it. I've already won this fight, even if I don't go in anymore. And this is why I think the white one should have stood up and fought me. I think the darker one maybe played this game a little bit too long. It gets into ambush. It actually lags back to the body, which is kind of terrifying. I go back in. I get behind the dark Rex. And I take advantage of the white Rex. No need to force anything. I don't have to do anything. The white Rex begins to stand up. I just get out with one bite. I keep applying bleed so that regardless of the decisions they make, they will bleed out if they stand. The dark one already is bleeding out. The white one, if it stands up, has been bitten 3 or 4 more times. So if it stands up, it's going to be hurting really bad. And we've left them with a really hard situation. At this point, one of these Rexes is going down. We've hit enough bites on both of them that one of these Rexes is going to die. They just have to determine who it's going to be, or they have to get a lucky snipe on me and catch me in one of my entries. But I'm going to make sure, no matter what I do, I'm not going to enter in a risky way. I grab ambush back because I want to be able to put them under some pressure. I go in. 3 more bites on the dark one. And the fight is over at this point, but now I'm just making sure that no matter what happens, they have so many stacks of bleed on them that there's no way out. The fight is very grim for them at this point. The white one is certainly healing, but we've stacked a couple more bites on it already, which means it's another 5 minutes before this Rex stops even bleeding and starts healing HP. So if this Rex stands up at all, it's going to be in a very bad spot. And this other Rex, we just hit 2 or 3 more times, which means the more it continues to walk around, the closer it gets to death. It's already on 4th. We're in a very good spot. I'm going to bait the Rex to ambush me. I do that. I get in. 1, 2. He bites and ends up killing the white Rex. And the fight is over. And just like that, we take advantage of 2 Rexes during the day with 1 Dilo. We were patient. We made sure we applied bleed enough to both of them. They gave us a lot of opportunities to get in. And then, thankfully, the darker Rex did most of the work at the end for us to be able to win this fight. Now we have body down. This Rex is going to have to sit and heal. And that is how you 1v2 2 Rexes during the day with a Dilo. Patience, making sure you maintain bites on both of them, and never putting yourself in a position where they can catch you in ambush. Once they do that and they're both stacked up on bleed, they're going to have to force a decision where they're going to have to either sit down or continue to fight. And if you've already stacked enough bleed on both Rexes, then one of them will drop. Trust the bleed. I appreciate you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you learned something from this video as well. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Like the video. It really does help the algorithm put this video out in front of more people. If you have not yet, also please hit that subscribe button. Turn the notifications on, and that will let you know every single time in the future that I post a brand new video. I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you in the next one.